You got spare game codes or any digital goods? There is a place you can sell them in less than 1 minute. Watch. Go to g2a.com. Click Start Selling. Fast login. Go to My Account and click on Selling tab. Sell new item. Enter name, code, set a price. And done. G2A.com Digital Marketplace. Global selling simplified.
Hello everybody and welcome back here to your coverage of the D2CL. It's the quarterfinal time playoffs for the D2CL Season 6. I am your host for the English live stream, Toby Wallace. We're going into game number 2 of Team Liquid going up against CIS Rejects. CIS Rejects proving that they're not just the team to come in second place or what could have been potentially a drawn 8th place. They are a team to fight for their right to play Dota. And they're doing it up against Team Liquid in beautiful style as they took out game number 1 up against what appeared to be a very scary draft that never actually became scary enough. So, game 2, what's in store for us? We're going to find out. I'm here with Modpacks for game number 2, man. What changes? What changes here for Liquid to make them win?
Well, I think ideally they want to get a hold of that Tusk, but that seems rather unlikely. I'm pretty sure they'll get Bandit in the first phase. Probably the hero they have the most success with overall. Something they love to run for Mind Control and Jerax as well. And we're also going to see that Darkseer Bandit again. So I don't know. We talked about that synergy of the Team Liquid draft and how it all seemed to be going so well, but I guess they just couldn't really get themselves that solid foundation of a good laning phase to move into that death ball. And we saw CIS just pick them apart.
It's kind of funny that during that game I was mentioning the issues of the Necro and what happened back at DreamHack with the Necro, because that's for me where I kind of first remember Montumberman coming into the scene when he did his interviews as well up on the desk, and it was all a little risque, but it was Montumberman through and through, and we saw then the Blink Dagger Necro. And just how important it was to get that Blink Dagger up at a very early time. But it wasn't just getting the Blink Dagger up. It was the ability to attack and then keep attacking after it. So you don't just, it's the same kind of thing for any item you buy. You don't just buy an item and then leave it sit there in your inventory for stats purposes. You buy an item for a purpose. And the purpose for me never really kicked in there for Liquid because the Beastmaster never kicked in either. Its first rotation into the mid wasn't really the greatest thing in the world. They kept getting split up. The Dazzle couldn't do his work when there was a gank on bottom lane. The Lich ulti actually split up the fight again. And it looks like we're going back down a very similar road. Lich and Slaughter are in for CIS Rejects, but there's no Wisp in this game, so they can't keep the attacks going. But it's still a Lich and a Slaughter together.
Yeah, and now 2 games in a row we'll have the Radiant for Liquid and then Dire for CIS. So that means both teams obviously favoring those specific sides, what they want to go with. Typically, you're looking at Radiant. You want to get an early good laning phase. We know how much Vada loves the Shadow Fiends, and that's one of the heroes, of course, benefits the most when it comes to being on the Radiant side. It's, I guess CIS, we saw them have pretty good Roshan control. It didn't seem to be the tipping point, It was obviously nice to have up against the Necro, but they did a very good job of just securing their lanes. They didn't really make use of stacking the jungle or anything like that. They just went for kills, and that's what you got to do when you're the Dire side if you really want to propel up against the Radiant. So they'll hope to do that again. And again, we'll see that Broodmother banned out. Okay, with, pretty standard, I guess.
It kind of is. CIS are looking towards the off lane of Liquid that could cause them problems. Broodmother, with the consistent pushing, it's always going to cause you issues. Maybe you still want to focus more on these single target heroes, so you don't want to have AoE clearance up against something like the Broodmother. And you're already wanting to win your lanes. Brood makes it so you don't win your lane. Lich makes it so you win your lane. The Queen of Pain and Lina are both being banned out here by Koro, so no surprise after Iceberg's stellar performance in Game 1 on that Lina, taking out the Corp just to be safe, and really limiting the mid lane of CIS Rejects, what wins up against SF, and I'm really hoping to God it is not a Viper. You knew exactly where my brain was going as well, it's just...
Yeah, it's interesting. You see a ton of focus from CIS on that offlane. I mean, you talked about it, but it's crazy to see 4 of Mind Control's potential heroes banned out, and maybe they're just thinking, okay, maybe we'll, they're getting rid of those. When you have the Lich, if you can get rid of the good solo offlaners, all 4 of those heroes, any sort of a dueling that comes up from Team Liquid can be very hard to, really put together and make worthwhile. Winter Wyvern's pretty good, and the Dazzle can be pretty good, but there's nothing quite like the Lich and somebody else,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Lich works with. You know what was the old dual lane off lane combo that you couldn't beat at all, and unless you pushed, Lich Enigma.
Right. Yeah.
Just
Lich Doom's probably the most terrifying these days.
oh yeah, it's kind of along the it's not the same lines, but it's the fact like with Lich Enigma you can double deny your wave, so it's the easiest thing in the world. Like Enigma gets himself a Soul Ring. Lich always has mana because sacrifice obviously OP ability, and you go to town on that one. But yeah, Doom will work in any lane. Doom will work in any jungle. Doom will work anywhere.
I'm wondering what they're going to look for here for mind control. I'm just trying to think. He doesn't really have that many like signature heroes, that really come to mind for me. Maybe the you beat me to it. The Earthshaker is his fourth after Tusk, Darkseer, Qualifier. It is the Earthshaker. It is the one he's played the most.
But remember what we talked about before we even started today.
Yeah.
This is something I was quoting Blitz on the other night, and it was a simple question of why is Earthshaker not played as much anymore, and the simple answer is. It's because the dual lanes have begun. And when you have a dual lane, you never really, you can't rotate out from your lane without it being very noticeable. So that's where the Earthshaker kind of has a bit of a problem. You can see his gank coming from a very, very long way away. So what do you want to do? You want to run a core Earthshaker then? Probably not.
I'm not sure. Could it be a... Well, I guess they had Jerax on the Winter Wyvern last game. It could be a Crow Earthshaker. It seems... I don't know. I feel like it's going to be core, but I'm not sure how it's going to work out.
10 seconds remaining.
Yeah. He's still the old-fashioned combo with the SF. Like, it's brought up more times than you can count. Like, SF and Earthshaker. It's the combo in the mid. The Gyrocopter. So there's your number one position now for Team Liquid. So the only thing in question is if this is an offlane Earthshaker or a support Earthshaker. It's the only question that's there. All their other lanes are very, very predictable. While CIS rejects, I wouldn't even put it past them to go for a Joe Ranger in this game. Like, run a Lich Slaughter offlane, put a Visage as well as a Drow on the safe lane, and then grab yourself a really strong range hero in mid like a Wind Ranger, and just go to town.
10 seconds remaining.
What about...
5 seconds
What about some sort of a combination like a Night Stalker or maybe even the Undying, like something that can give them a little bit more of that early game presence they seem to be lacking against CIS rejects?
I'd be worried about running...
They've done it in the past, but I don't know.
I'd be worried about running both like an Undying as well, a Night Stalker as well as a Slaughter in the same team, up against...
Oh, I'm recommending for Liquid.
Oh, for Liquid?
Team Liquid's turn to ban.
I don't know, man.
There's just really not that much that, like looking at this, I'm just like, what do you even do here?
And you can get controlled too much. Like, you can get crushed, you get amplified, you're going to have to go up against Frost Armor, so your attack's being slowed.
Oh, what about the Jakiro?
Like, you're trying to run... Jackie could work here. The issue is still going to come that you're going to get counter push really fucking hard. And you're probably going to lose your life very quickly, too. Jakiro is not the most, maneuverable of heroes. So getting shackled is going to be there's a high percentage chance that will happen.
We do still have the Dazzle, actually not yet mentioned. That must be the biggest hero left in this pool.
Well, your Dazzle can go and help the Earthshaker as an offlaner, but I still feel like Earthshaker and Dazzle are going to get completely destroyed.
Oh, they won't be able to do anything. Like, you'll have to just block the wave. Like, there's nothing else.
I'm still waiting for this draw. Like, if you run Lich Slaughter offlane, like, the amount of harassment damage that Lich is capable of doing, the bonus advantage that Wind Range will get in mid, the Visage is the classic combination. Like, they could actually run anything they want as their safe lane. They could even run a bloody Medusa if they wanted to, CIS rejects, and just tank through everything Team Liquid has to offer. It's actually a bit of a dream. Or you can be a big dick about things and go Nagasiren core. Reset the fights every single time, or set up with the Lich, set up with the familiar stuns, shackles. But it's not CIS's style. Like, they want heroes that can move forward, attack, be aggressive, get something like, well, if he wasn't so crap in this game of Slark, like, those style of heroes is more CIS rejects, like bag of tricks.
Yeah, they did ban out the Undying, which is pretty much the only other thing that immediately came to mind. So I'm not sure what Liquid's thinking. I love Slardar Wind Ranger, such a good combination. Like even before you have the Aghanim Scepter,
10
obviously that's
seconds
going to help with the
remaining.
cooldown on the Focus Fire. But if anyone's amplified damage and you get that on top,
It is
it
an
can
ES
help out a
core.
ton, and
Dire
that is
team
exciting.
pick.
SD. So is that going to be going into the offlane with the Earthshaker?
They're so dangerous up against Visage and Wind Ranger, though. I think it's actually going to go safe lane, and they actually run duels with Wyvern ES off, but Wyvern has to. You could try and actually do what's been happening more and more for Dire side teams, but they're on the Radiant side, so it's not as strong. Where you run the
10
core, like
seconds
what would be
remaining.
your normal number one position, with a slightly defensive support. So it could be like
5 seconds
the Dazzle,
remaining.
or it could be, in this case, a Shadow Demon, to try
Right.
and just give yourself that confidence in the
Reserve
lane.
time.
But you could also then, as CIS reject, say, oh, we see this coming, it's an Earthshaker on bottom. We just grab ourselves, like, we just still run the Lich Slider on bottom and get yourself Visage +1 on top. Just someone that can harass from range and not get caught out by a Gyrocopter or SD. The Wind Ranger is wonderful against the Shadow Demon. I always, like, you make more copies. They're just so easy to shackle. Visage is familiar to about a reposition. The Lich Hold, he won't get really diffused. In fact, normally it's amplified by having illusions around, unless there's a crap ton of them. Yeah, I'm actually feeling so opposite to game number 1. I'm worried about Team Liquid's ability to do laning right now.
So what do you think? Do you think it'd be like a Juggernaut or something for CIS rejects? That seems something that would be kind of aggressive, kind of fit the sort of like the tempo that they're aiming at, and
I'd
kind of deal
prefer
with any
something
sort of a
ranged.
laning situation that came out.
I'd really prefer something ranged up against the Gyrocopter. Because if it is going to be the Gyro on top,
Right, if they come up top, yeah.
yeah, just grab yourself something. Like, the Juggernaut is a great hero. I won't say no to that one. But you want something that can fight the Gyro from range, or at least stun him up. Like, Luna's the other one that's coming to my mind at the moment for CIS.
10 seconds remaining.
Give you a lot of team fight control, but it's just that, like, then you can use Lucent Beam, and then you can
5
use, like,
seconds
Soul Assumption, like,
remaining.
these kind of combos together. But they got 1 second, and it's going to be a Night Stalker, man. But just for the other team.
Yeah. Oh, so what just happened? Does that mean Core Slardar?
I would still
Really?
think it's the dual off lane. Of course, yeah, actually, yeah. Looks to be the case. There's a Wind Ranger mid, and then Night Stalker or Slider can go towards the off lane or the safe lane, doesn't matter. Lich goes to the off lane, Visage goes to safe lane. That's pretty
I
much
don't know
it.
how I feel. Like when after seeing so many of these games of this Blink 4-staff Slardar, I just love like what people have been doing with that hero and all the utility he grants, the amplified damage, and of course the multiple slithering crushes with the lower cooldown. It just seems like building him for damage and more in that core role kind of. It seems a little underwhelming, doesn't it? Like compared to
You still
that dominating force.
You still understand that you were saying before, like the amount of damage you get out of the Wind Ranger is crazy. So that's what you're really searching for. The Slanner and the Night Stalker are a means to an end. Yeah, the big jump in damages. Yeah, you build for maneuverability more than anything else. I still wouldn't build him for damage. I still go for that Blink Dagger 4 stuff.
Right.
And
Well,
when he's
that's
ready
really
to
good.
attack, then you switch the Night Stalker into the safe lane, farm up towards that Aghanim Scepter, and then you've got the vision onto Liquid. So how does Liquid then initiate? Well, you want to Blink Dagger onto the Wyvern. Probably not going to happen when the Lich is already denying out a lot of the lanes. You get the early mech on the SF, which means you just run at CISR. The Aghanim Scepter works a charm for that one. The Earthshaker's jump initiation range, very, very difficult. And he is the core. He's the one that's meant to be buying into the Blink Dagger. So he's already going to be exposed on the off lane, and this can't happen again to Mind Control where he dies on the off lane. They need him to be that initiator. Team Liquid's counter team fight control is really nice. So when CIS are ready to initiate, then Liquid have a lot to work with. And that's probably the biggest strength I see out of that lineup.
Yeah, and well, you mentioned it's okay to go from those mobility items on your Slardar now because of the Wind Ranger, and compared to the last draft, there's essentially zero single target focus on Liquid. Like, what is there? There's like the right clicks of the Gyrocopter and Winter's Curse. Everything else essentially is going to be AoE damage that's going to be coming out. So as long as they can kind of keep Iceberg in the backline, there's no Reaper's Sight or something to delete him from the fight, and you can count more on that damage than you could have against like the previous lineup.
Bardo? Are they going to give this to him? Yeah, they kind of got to. Like, Fada's going to come in, just beat into the Night Stalker. Night Stalker doesn't have enough movement speed for it. So, one for Iceberg, one for Fada. And they're both gone for their respective builds. Exactly the same with the salve trigger. So, neck and neck for the mid lane so far. AKA Bounty really picked up. It's such a close contest.
Oh, no, it's over. Iceberg didn't get the support block.
It's Salver.
It's pretty much the game, I guess.
Now.
And we can pretty much close this one up.
Interested to see what Fada builds it, like, skills up into. Fada actually got, like, the perfect block on his one creep. It's
nice.
It's fairly even. Okay, so he builds for Necromastery. They want G-Rex harassing out in this lane. And that's the reason why he goes Shadow Poison to start with. They actually got buffed up a couple of patches ago, if I do recall correctly.
Yeah, 6.82, I want to say. Either way, it's something absurd.
Iceberg.
If you get...
That's a lot of stacks, man. That's a lot of stacks. That's a lot of stacks.
It's roughly 1,000 damage with 5 stacks at level 4, and even at level 1, that was, what, 400 or something like that? Actually, it'll show up. Oh, it won't.
I think Iceberg realized he was dead. And thought, oh crap, I'm going to fight the SD, but you just gave first blood in the solo kill to Jirax. That's... Not to mention the space for the fact that Fada now has 10 souls in this SF. The damage is now here for the SF, and Iceberg... Oh my, that was not the dream. That was not the play.
And look what Jerax has done, eh? He went and hid the smoke up and behind the tower before he went in all that harassing. So they're unaware of that little, gank that he might be trying to throw, come down into the bottom lane, maybe go up on top of Afterlife. Just, it's those little things,
They're doing this again, CIS. They give a lot of space to Golblack on the lane so he can just sacrifice as well as Frost Blast. While letting the other core, letting the core who's in that lane move over to try and leech the experience from the lane. And this time he's doing it in the river. And waiting for the 2-minute rune. So Kuro is the man who's going to Arctic Burn up. He wants to try and battle up against Afterlife. And Afterlife doesn't want to really expend any of his mana. But the Wyvern steals the bounty rune. Wind Ranger gets the DD, however, and that will give her absolutely no advantage at all. Because she's just going to get poisoned up.
Yeah,
and poisoned up.
Oh, well, rather, contrary to the overlay, it was actually CIS who won the first game. Just point that out for anyone who is tuning in.
This is inaccurate. It is not correct, sir. Iceberg really needs his bottle. He's getting
positioning he has to take here.
Fada's got more CS than Iceberg, more deniers than Iceberg has CS. Like, this is really problematic for him. Walks in, takes a raise, has to trigger off the salve after that. So CISR really need to get something more out of their other lanes. But they do have Aslan who's up to 15 for 4. And Matumberman hasn't really found that much farm in the lane. Like, he's only sitting 8 for 0.
Dead.
Yeah, there's no way he'll survive this. Again, Jirax with the poison. The Shadow, like, the disruption allowed him just to get one more wave of poison off if he wanted to. And now there's 2 kills going the way of the SD. Yeah, but Matumberman's not grabbing as much as I thought because Golblack just keeps dragging the wave back.
Yeah, the frustration, like, basically Afterlife's been in there dueling it up with the Kuroki essentially this entire early phase, and then Golblack's kind of been sitting on the wave. He's actually 2 levels higher than his Night Stalker at this point, as we will see Shadow Demon deny himself there, so just head on back to base the Express Post way.
Saves a little bit of time.
Control.
Yeah,
I'm a little surprised how good of a time he's having up here.
He's managed to find 4 levels. No real CS, like, he's still only managed to grab himself 5 CS. So the Blink Dagger timing is not going to be so terrific for him. And I'd be more concerned about the other timings. Like, the Earthshaker finding levels, yeah. It's, I'm never going to say it's not important, but there's other things which
it's not quite as, potent as other heroes, you know?
And what happens once you do actually have Visage with Familiars up and running? You get the amplified damage vision all the time over on the Earthshaker. It'll only take 1 Familiar stun to do the work. So they'll need to have quick rotations coming in. So look for those those TP scrolls over on Jirax. Right now we're watching him kill off Afterlife. That's 3 poisons already. And you're about to see the 4th connect. Afterlife, the Shackle, actually drags back Jirax. They give him a Void as well. And that's actually quite a decent kill. Goldblack rotates over and helps take it. The haste room from Fada wanting to come in further. There's no shackle available. The quick void, now the power shot. No shackle, still able to connect. And Fada, Afterlife stands his ground. He wants to try and fight, but Jurex just, well, sorry, Fada just lets the ulti go, giving himself a double kill. Goldblack got picked off in the river in the meantime.
And then Mind Control drops top at the same time, so kills all across the map, but a nice little heads-up play there by Fata. He was waiting in the mid lane. He was actually trying to bait out the wind run before that fight even started so that he could use the haste rune to go in for the raises, but that was the perfect opportunity for a kill for him, so he gets the level up, grabs the Requiem at level 6, because why not, you know, makes him secure the kill there. And we also saw Mattelman pick off Goblak for himself over near the tower, I believe.
Yep. He chased him through the river, like all the way over to find that kill. Afterlife trying to get aggressive during the nighttime, attacking into this gyrocopter. He's got a void back off cooldown in 1 second time. Looks like mid lane as well. Jirax a little bit too close. Goes to the disruption over and always want to fly. So Matoma Man does end up dying to that Night Stalker solo. Soul assumption damage from always want to fly. Not enough. And in fact, it's very lucky for him that Jirax's poison first wave missed, because now he's going to restart the counter again. Fada with the race too far away. And Jirax just wants to keep pressuring. There's 3 poison stacks over on the Visage, but he's perfectly alright. And now we see the lanes for CIS are just getting a little bit more controlled.
I mean, Afterlife just completely recovered his entire early game in about 10 seconds. Like, no spells were cast out. When Tom Man didn't go for... He might get Goblak now, just be harassing out, but he didn't pop his stick, and I don't know, Afterlife just ran him down. Just kind of let him die, and suddenly now he's level 5, went and took a camp afterwards. It's still nighttime. He's ready to get aggressive here with Iceberg if they can catch anybody out, but... Jirax will just hug up next to Fata and please, you know, please save me here.
They see everything in the mid. Jirax is coming over because they're worried about the gank. It is the last 20 seconds, and Jirax, Afterlife, and that damage output. Disruption will be kicking in, but you're seeing Windranger moving into position for a power shot. Probably won't be able to reach it. Afterlife already finds the kill, as Phase Boots give him the speed as well as the non-blocking to run for it and then get the hell out.
Man, what a turnaround! Like, he's really showing off how you can abuse Night Stalker. The second the nighttime hits, he was level 3 when this night started, and managed to take down a level 5 gyrocopter, and now moving into around the 8-minute mark. It looks like Mind Control does have some help from Jirax here.
Trouble up on top, always want to fly, keeping Jirax out, and there's your Echo saying they really want this kill over on the Slardar, and, well, he's going to balls up the crush, the sprint away, but the poison's right behind him. Mind Control just needs to hit with the totem, and he's able to do so. So the Slardar will end up dying. The hilarious thing is, though, for all of his CS, he still wasn't the top net worth. Top net worth is by far that SF. Matoma Man copping a little chunk of damage here as Afterlife. Rocket Barrage. Well, that Void's back off cooldown in 1 second time. There is no Frost Blast, but the Void still slows him down with a Flag Cannon. Not enough damage for the Splinter Blast. It flies out, so Kura gets a revenge kill over on the Lich.
Look at Afterlife. He's actually considering this. It's almost got his earn.
Right.
What a play up there by Mind Control. Like, he played that absolutely perfectly. As soon as he had the Fissure thrown out and one right click down on top of the Slardar, he created some space in between him and the Slardar so that he can position himself for the next totem. And
get out
like
of
Ramsey's
there,
in
Slardar.
trouble now, though.
Run away. He's got half a second left to sprint, but then again, that means he just takes more damage with a double damage route as well from Fada. They get the kill over on Slardar. And he was meant to be that slight aggressor, but the Observer Ward behind the tower of Tier 1 of Diaside just saw him. They saw him TP in, saw him rotate. So very simple rotation, and again, keeps the vision up, so always want to fly. Stick charge, try and stay alive. Does some decent damage to Fana with the Soul Assumption, but can't stay alive for all of his troubles.
And we're starting to see maybe a little bit of a negative impact this time, trying to abuse Goblak. Like, he doesn't have a TP scroll ready, so he can't engage in any of these fights up top, even though he has the early levels for the Chain Frost. It's they're doing a good job of just kind of rotating up here and crushing this lane, right? Like, expecting that there won't be a rotation from Afterlife and Goblak. Snag themselves a very easy tower.
They really just have to wait it out. Okay, maybe not. Darkness, they going in. The Curse, however, it controls up Afterlife. Remember, he's still going to have that high movement speed. As Kuro TP's out, they know what they're here for. They're here for Matumberman. They need to keep him down, because if this Gyro starts getting any more farm, then they just don't have anything to play with. The Gyro will do too much damage. The SF is already up at 5,400 net worth. Make that 5,500 net worth. He's... Make it almost 5,600 net worth. The SF's just farming too quickly. Once the mech is up, CISR can't be aggressive unless it's nighttime.
Yeah, we've seen Fata do this just countless times with this hero. Iceberg looking for that shackle, but JerAx very mindful of it, keeping that positioning. It's always tricky near the stairs. They can take some pretty wacky angles.
It's really good props as well to Iceberg, the fact he's managed to get the CS, like the net worth, back up to where he is. For 2 deaths, and he's sitting at the 3rd highest net worth on the field. Like, he's got more farm than this Gyrocopter, who was a safe lane hero for Team Liquid. And Jara's even got 1 kill to his name. The Wind Ranger does not. So CISR, the timing we're looking for. Like, do we wait for next night time? Will the Slaughter have a Blink Dagger by that point?
It's going to be close. He'll certainly be getting up towards it.
As he keeps backing off like this, it's going to keep
maybe...
delaying.
I wonder if maybe sometimes we'll see the Force Staff up against the Clockwork and also the Earthshaker occasionally. Probably going to be a Blink Dagger, simply because it is just really good up against Fata. They want to make sure they get the maximum control on them that they can. But it certainly is an option when you're going for this offlane Slider.
Wouldn't be against it. Always want to fly. He's got his familiars up. He wants to fight, slowing down mind control. The Echo Slam's available, but at the same time, the cooldown's arriving. Goldblack's going to get this ulti off in time. Bounce up to Matumberman, so these familiars can do a little bit of work. They're going to be careful. The SF is hot on their tail, but always want to fly. Knows he can stay alive here. With extra soul assumption damage, they just want to run this one out. And the homing missile is chasing after always want to fly, but it would force Liquid to go in way too deep. They go for the kills over on the familiars, but they get away. Kuro can't keep up, even with the Arctic Burn trigger. So all this is happening. The Lich dies, but all 5 heroes from Liquid are up on top lane being controlled. Iceberg farms up in mid now, and Afterlife is getting space during daytime on bottom lane to farm.
Yeah, and he'll have the Urn, have his phase boots, and they'll run Iceberg a little bit out of mid here. I don't know what other big items will be coming out here. You don't really have that farm on Always Want to Fly that you're looking for, as they do pop the nighttime.
Yep. Visage, he needed the help to get out of here. The grave shield's not enough, and Goldblack, yep, that cooldown. It's just too much slow for him. Shadow Demon will find the kill over and Always Want to Fly, and Liquid just keep pushing. They got the mech up. They want to try and make a big impact. Mind control starts with the Fidget. Gets a 2-man stun. Iceberg instantly into that wind run and away to safety. But Afterlife triggers the darkness and comes in. We are already during that nighttime phase. Phase boost off cooldowns while stick charges is not going to be enough to keep him alive. In fact, doesn't even use the stick charges. Accepts his fate of death. This is 12 for 5. That mid tower looking to be attacked. And Matumberman finds these familiars out of position. They're going to drop down. The Fissure again, trying to look for a little of extra control, but the Frost Blast catching out too. Liquid not feeling confident enough to stick around for now.
Yeah, Fata was running low on mana, so he bailed them, trying to go grab the rune down bottom. And without the mechanism, just play the safe play, you know, back themselves away. They're getting those levels up. They still have the Winter's Curse available, as well as the Purge from JerAx. And on the other side, of course, the Familiars are up, and you've got the Chain Frost, and they will smoke up now. They definitely have the potential for Roshan with Iceberg, but is that the play? It looks like it.
I would even just say it's just with Iceberg. Like, you got your Familiars control and the damage that come from them as well. Like, I never really want to underestimate that. So you can keep Roshan locked down for quite a considerable amount of time. And Team Liquid don't know this is happening. They don't have an Observer Ward nearby. You've got the SD moving over now, so you might be able to Poison Scout, which is actually exactly what's going to happen, but it's already too late. Roshan's down for the count. The Observer Ward's allowing Afterlife to know what he can get away with, and he wants Matumberman. After taking out Roshan to also grab the kill on the Gyrocopter, he starts his TP out. The Crush will be in time. The Shackle will be there. Followed up with a Power Shot. Won't get the cooldown off. So it means Liquid cannot turn onto this. So you take Roshan and a kill over on Matumberman. This SF is still a beast, however.
Yeah, and we talked about the importance of this damage that is coming from Iceberg, kind of the sole source, and with all this control that they've drafted on the, you know, to be flanking him up, so to speak, and being at his side. And so it's not really a big surprise they put the Aegis on top of him, but it's, I don't know, it kind of seems like if they can actually get their way to Iceberg, I wonder if maybe the Aegis might be, oh, that's an Echo Slam from my control.
Yep.
On top of Ramses, so that's an easy pick off.
Who needs a Blink Dagger when you can just start with Disruption? Meanwhile, Fada, that curse into the Requiem. They burned the Aegis the Immortal already. CISR not ready to fight just yet. Iceberg and a copper raise. Still had Wind Run up, but the Fissure locks him in position, allowing that last raise from Fire to connect. They couldn't do it with physical damage because of obviously the 100% evasion, and now Night Stalker also caught out of position. Mind Control not going for the instant stun. In fact, it's up on top lane where he's a little bit more concerned. The Cold Embrace is holding Fada in position, but Familiar stun 1 and 2, instantly dropping down with soul assumption damage too. Fada could potentially die from just these Familiars, which always want to fly, decides to resummon up, chasing Fada into the tree lines. But with the attack coming in from Kuro, they need to go for another stun. And where's your control? Visage is too far in. The Fissure will end up killing him off, and Fada TP's out to safety. CIS are just throwing kills and bones the way of Team Liquid. They want to go for more. This Familiar doesn't have a drop. That's a fresh resummon of Familiars, and they all got picked off.
Well, that escalated quickly outside of the Roshan pit. I don't even, where did that even begin? I guess with the Echo Slam in the mid lane, and then a couple of rotations, and there's some nice pick-offs up top by Fata.
It didn't even have to go that way, though. Like, CISR didn't have to fight.
No.
Like, they took the fight. They took the perfect fight on bottom lane, like inside the jungle. Matubberman, you could see him. The Observer Ward was there. But then they went into the top lane fight with no vision at all. And with a very farmed up SF. And now another kill. This Slaughter, catch it, Rocket barraged. Down for the count.
That's now twice in a row. He was up to around 1700 prior to that first Echo Slam death, and now he's dropping all the way down to 1400 with 2 deaths tacked on. And it's getting a lot higher. It looks like he's saving straight for the blink, and also Zono always want to fly if they don't even just get the outright kill with that Splinter Blast.
And the raises. It's a very simple job for Team Liquid now to win this game.
Dire's top tower has fallen.
And it'll be the SNY as suspected up on Fata. They're leaving TP down, not looking to lose any of these tier 1 towers. Blink Dagger now up for Mind Control. It looks like it'll be, do you think BKB or SNY for Matumba Man as well?
For Matubberman, I'd actually prefer to see the BKB at this point. Like, because there's no lockdown stuns that can attack him. You're not going to rely on Slaughter. In fact, most of the time, in fact, in case in this time as well, like, you don't even scale up Bash. And the chance of having like that 10% to 25% chance of getting a stun through BKB, he can just really do whatever he wants during the team fights.
Yeah, while taking all the damage from a rocket barrage or something like that, it seems rather unlikely.
Yeah.
And he doesn't really have the Helm the Dominator, so typically that's what we will see leading into the SNY, so I'm kind of in agreement with you. I think it'll really help against the control from both the Lich, just from the Frost Blasts and everything like that, but also the Night Stalker, the Shackles. It seems like it's a good item if they want to go for these tier 2s and high ground.
He's also the tank for his team. Like, the Earthshaker jumps in with a Blink Dagger, but doesn't really have a lot of life. Matumberman, however, now goes for the solo kill over on Goldblank. Wants to turn on the flag cannon, but gets shackled to a tree line. The poison, with the purge as well. Goldblank's going to pop. There's no way. He knows he can't survive. Damn that SD. The poison attack so early on did so much work, and now Afterlife Mind Control. He'll commit the Echo Slam to keep the stun going, and the poison just keep flying. It's a double kill for Jirax. While the mid-tier 2 tower is dropped, Liquid feel like they can just force the issue even further. They've still got mech available. Another disruption. Fada goes for the razor, so always going to fly. The shackle from Iceberg will do some work. The soul assumption as well, but Fada triggers the mech, and this was, again, these Familiars that will get completely mopped up. The 4-man crush, but the follow-up curse. Slaughter, Familiars were not worth your life. He'll actually end up keeping his life, and Iceberg looking for more. In fact, maybe it's Team Liquid that came in a little bit too far, but some of them are going to get shackled up. Again, another big crush. The Lich Ulti will fly out, but the SD disruption making it difficult for the bouncers. Now it will bounce back up again. Matumberman and Fada, please separate yourselves. They took a lot more damage than they probably needed to at that point, but CISR, they came out. Half-Life as well, running himself forward. He's in the middle of a cooldown, right on top of the Earthshaker. The crush will come again from 666, but the trade-off really isn't there. You've lost your Winter Wyvern. Maybe this will do a little bit more work as Iceberg, and actually it's going to be Visage to get that kill over on the SD. But the follow-up damage, there's your crush forward. It's a 3-on-3 trade-off. The win range is already brought back into this game. The Slaughter will die him and Tubberman, so the trade-off, not the perfect one. And Mind Control following up with the stun. He knows he's visible at the moment, which means there's a dire Observer Ward around there. Always going to fly knows exactly where he's running to, but cannot catch up to him. So the fight will end. It'll end up being a 4-for-3 trade-off with the buyback expense coming in from the Wind Ranger.
Yeah, just looking at that, they do, with all the buybacks, wow, they actually do end up with the gold change coming out on top simply because of, the massive kill bounty actually heading the way of your Visage. So he was extremely poor. In fact, before that fight, Kuroki was actually second net worth in terms of the Radiant. He was actually above even Matumbaman on the gyrocopters. Now they're on top of Iceberg with another Fisher.
Always on
There
the
are some
fly, can't
backups
really
here.
help. Okay, he can with Goldblack in the neighborhood, but Iceberg's dead. If they can get another slower and always want to fly, then they've got this, but the Grave Shield gives him too much movement speed to get away once again. Nice Stalker catching Jirax out over in the tree line. But he doesn't have the damage. We're still in daytime. So the Void, the control isn't enough. 666. Okay, it's over. They die in front of their own tier 3 tower. Under 20-minute GG call comes out. And that was quick. It's very, very quick.
Yeah, that was Liquid kind of making a little bit of a statement there. I think they kind of, they were feeling a little down after that first one. One would suspect. I mean, you're favored. You're looking to go into these big tournaments. You're already, there's really not much more to say.
Yeah. Game was good, game was golden, and game will go to a game 3. It is the deciding matchup who will go up against the Golden Boys in the second semi-final. Of course, you can check out our first semi-final this Sunday at 16 CEST. It is the reschedule starting time for it all. OG going up against Team Empire. We are looking to drag this down to 4 teams. Will it be Liquid? Will it be CISR? We'll find out after this break.